This is the story of Vampyroteuthis infernalis. The name alone is enough to send a shiver down the spine. It literally means vampire squid from hell, and it sounds like the title of a horror movie, not an animal. Dark red body, massive glowing eyes, cloak-like webbing between its arms. When you first see one, it's easy to understand why. But what if I told you this 300-million-year-old survivor is not a vampire, doesn't hunt for food, has never tasted blood, and isn't even a squid? What if I told you this so-called monster survives on little more than drifting ocean rubbish? Today, we're going into the dark to meet the real vampire squid. To understand the myth, we have to go back to the moment it was named. In the late 1800s, deep-sea exploration was still a venture into the unknown. During the Valdivia expedition, zoologist Carl Chun hauled up a creature from the depths of the Gulf of Guinea that looked unlike anything he had seen before. It was red, webbed, and wide-eyed, a deep-sea shape that seemed almost designed to frighten. So Chun gave it a name to match: Vampyroteuthis infernalis, the vampire squid from hell. He also made an understandable mistake and classified it as an octopus. But the animal's true identity turned out to be stranger than either label. For years, scientists kept misreading it. Juveniles and adults looked different enough that they were treated like separate species, and only later did researchers realize they were seeing the same animal at different stages of life. Then came the final clue. It had features that fit neither squid nor octopus. It had 8 arms, but also 2 retractable filaments hidden inside special pockets in its webbing. That discovery changed everything. The vampire squid wasn't a squid, and it wasn't an octopus. It was the last living member of its own ancient branch of the cephalopod family tree, a biological relic from another era. So, if it's not a vicious hunter, what does the vampire squid from hell actually eat? For a long time, that was one of the deep sea's great mysteries. Scientists could bring specimens to the surface, but their stomachs were usually empty or filled with unidentifiable mush. Nothing about the animal's soft beak, weak mouthparts, or gelatinous body suggested a predator. The answer came when technology finally caught up. With remotely operated vehicles, scientists were able to observe Vampyroteuthis alive in its natural habitat for the first time. And what they saw destroyed the myth completely. It wasn't hunting. It wasn't chasing prey. It was drifting, almost motionless, through the water like a patient ghost. Then, from one of the special pockets in its webbed arms, it would release a long, thread-like filament, a line so thin and so long that it could stretch several body lengths through the dark water. That filament wasn't a weapon, it was a trap. What it caught was something called marine snow, a slow fall of organic debris drifting down from the surface. Dead algae, tiny plankton, shed shells, waste, and other bits of ocean fallout all sink together into the deep. For the vampire squid, that debris is food. The filament gathers the particles, then the squid reels it in and scrapes the debris off with its arms. Its suckers secrete mucus, which glues the particles together into a little food ball. Only then does it eat. This is not the behavior of a monster. It's the behavior of a patient, energy-saving scavenger. Instead of chasing prey, it survives on the ocean's leftovers. It has turned falling trash into a meal, and in doing so, become one of the most efficient animals in the sea. To understand how incredible the vampire squid really is, you need to understand where it lives. It survives in the oxygen minimum zone, or OMZ, a deep layer of water where oxygen is so scarce that most complex animals can't survive there. For almost anything else, it would be a death sentence. For the vampire squid, it's a safe haven. That's because this animal is built for extreme efficiency. Its metabolism is the lowest of any cephalopod ever measured. Its blood is specially tuned to grab what little oxygen is available. Its gills are large and highly efficient, helping it extract every last bit from the water. It also doesn't waste energy trying to fight gravity. Its body is almost neutrally buoyant, so it can float without constantly swimming. When it does move, it uses slow, gentle fin strokes instead of powerful jet propulsion. It has traded speed for survival. And when danger does show up, it doesn't fight. It performs. Its first defense is the pineapple pose. The vampire squid pulls its webbed arms over its body, hiding its vulnerable head and making itself look like a spiky ball. It's not trying to win a battle. It's trying to look too weird and too unpleasant to bother with. But its most spectacular defense is light. In the blackness of the deep sea, ink would be useless. So the vampire squid uses bioluminescence instead. Its body is covered in light-producing organs, and its arm tips can release a glowing cloud of sticky mucus. If a predator gets too close, the squid flashes, writhes, and throws out that glowing blob. The light can keep shining for minutes, giving the predator something confusing to focus on while the squid slips away into the dark. Every part of this animal is built around the same idea: conserve energy, avoid attention, and survive where almost nothing else can. The vampire squid is not just weird, it is ancient. This animal belongs to a lineage that split from the ancestors of modern squids and octopuses about 300 million years ago. That means it was already on its own evolutionary path long before the dinosaurs ever appeared. While other cephalopods kept evolving into fast hunters and clever problem solvers, this one stayed on a very different track. That makes it a kind of living fossil, not frozen in time, but preserving a very old body plan and a very old strategy. It is one of the last surviving clues to what early coleoid cephalopods may have been like. And then scientists sequenced its genome, and things got even stranger. The vampire squid has a huge genome, about 11 billion base pairs, nearly 4 times larger than the human genome. But that size doesn't come from a flood of new abilities or complex new genes. A huge chunk of it is repetitive DNA, meaning the genome is packed with a lot of extra genetic baggage. Even more interesting, its chromosomes are remarkably stable. Unlike octopuses, which seem to have gone through major chromosome reshuffling early in their evolution, the vampire squid's genome looks much more conservative and ancient. In other words, it did not become a cephalopod supernova. It took the quieter path. And that may be the real secret to its survival. It didn't need to become faster, sharper, or more aggressive. It found a niche where being small, efficient, and overlooked was the winning strategy. Its ancestors may once have lived in shallower waters, but over time they likely moved deeper, away from competition and into a harsh environment that favored their frugal biology. In the deep sea, the vampire squid found a place where evolution rewarded endurance over complexity. That's what makes it so fascinating. The vampire squid is a reminder that evolution is not always about becoming more dramatic. Sometimes, survival belongs to the creature that simply finds the right place and refuses to leave. We started with a monster, a creature with a terrifying name, a dark red body, and a reputation built on fear. But the deeper we went, the stranger and more remarkable the truth became. The vampire squid is not a predator, it's a scavenger, not a terror of the deep, but a master of survival. It lives in a place most animals can't tolerate, feeds on the ocean's leftovers, and carries the legacy of an ancient lineage that has endured for hundreds of millions of years. That's what makes Vampyroteuthis infernalis so special. It reminds us that the ocean's darkest places are not empty. They are full of life, shaped by patience, adaptation, and ingenuity. And sometimes, the creatures that look the most monstrous are the ones with the most fascinating stories to tell.